It all started with a Dutchman. No, a Flying Dutchman. From Vekoma, that is. This coaster, named X-Flight, was located at Giga Lake from 2001 to 2006. When it was announced that the park would be returning to a smaller, more traditional feel, some of the rides were taken down and sent to other Cedar Fair parks. Kings Island would be on the receiving end of this rare model, and they rebranded it Firehawk. The coaster was installed behind the building of the park's indoor coaster, Flight of Fear. This addition enabled the park to brand the subsection of the Coney Mall area as X-Base. On the first day of Kings Island's Halloween Haunt event in 2018, park officials announced that Firehawk would be closing permanently. The coaster would be torn down shortly after the Winterfest event, and speculation had already begun. While some aerial photos had been leaked online prior to the start of the 2019 season, it was clear to all on the season pass holder preview night at the start of the 2019 season, where a large land and tree clearing project had been going on during the off-season. Something big was coming. During the initial construction of Banshee in the 2013 season, many coaster enthusiasts were asking, will this be our Giga? Will our Giga stand where Son of Beast once stood? It was not to be. During the 2016 season, when it was noticed that many trees had been marked for removal, and there were surveyor markers visible while along the train ride, many correctly guessed that a new coaster was on the way. Again, the enthusiast asked, will this be our Giga? Will they somehow manage to install it in these woods? And again, it was not to be. So naturally, when the Firehawk removal announcement occurred, the dull roar started early. Will this be our Giga? Kings Island goers enthusiastically started speculating on the popular KI Central website forums. It did not take long until someone had uncovered the filed plans, and other enthusiasts were able to offer a rough look at what the coaster would look like. In spite of this, the park admitted nothing, offering only a fun teaser campaign. And then finally, on August 15th, 2019. That's right, the world's 7th Giga coaster would arrive for the 2020 season. A fundraising campaign was launched for a Kid Again charity, where donators of $150 or more would be welcome to Orion's first rider event. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the start of the season and the beginning of Orion's run at Kings Island would be delayed. Finally, it was announced that the first riders event would take place on Wednesday, July 1st, that the park would open for season pass holders starting on Thursday, July 2nd via an online reservation system. Our reservations were for the morning of Friday, July the 3rd. And off we went. We arrived at the park for our 11 a.m. reservation time at around 10:30 local time. We got out of the car and stretched and put on our sun lotion and made all of our preparations and headed toward the gate. Having filled out the convenient pre-screen health check on the KI app before our arrival, we made it to the temperature check. I was expecting a long line here, but it was quick, efficient, and no problem at all. Next checkpoint was the metal detectors. I had all of my things in my pockets, so I got a wand down. Again, no problem at all. The staff at the health check and the security were very friendly and courteous, and were very outgoing. It was a nice change of pace from the other parks that we've been to so far this season. We then made our way through the gate. We took my second favorite path to get to X Base from the gate, which is now called Area 72, because I started down the left side of the fountain instead of the right. We admired the pavers installed before the 2019 season, and commented on how nice everything in the park looked. After making it past the tower and the merry-go-round at last, our first sighting of the Area 72 sign was visible. The crowd was already starting to build up. I thought it a bit silly to keep piling in across the midway, as some seemed wont to do, so I kinda headed back hoping people would follow me to curve the line around. They did not. But luckily, a KIA cast member was right there and corralled everybody properly. Excitement for our first ride was building. We made it under the racer only to notice all of those in front of us turning back around. What is this? Would I be denied? Nope. After reported 4 to 5 hour long lines that stretched throughout most of the park on opening day, which was the day before we were there, the park was now passing out tickets with a return time. This reminded me of the old Disney Fast Pass where you pushed the button on the machine and then you had an hour window to make it back. This was pretty similar to that. As we found out later, we got back and were able to then get in line for the coaster. It seemed they were wanting to keep the line time at around 40 minutes to an hour, which is about what we waited for both of our rides. So with our tickets in hand, we turned around and headed straight for Diamondback. But that will be in another video. This one is about Orion, and our return time was at 1 p.m., and so that's what we did. 1 o'clock rolled around and we were already there. We got there a little early just in case. The very first thing you noticed upon entering the area is the theming. This theming is great for a seasonal park. The Flight of Fear building had been incorporated into the new theme for Orion, and the ambient music, along with all of the new sights in the area, was really something to take in. We were a few minutes early, as I said, for our time, and we waited behind several others who had the 1 o'clock time slot until it was time for us to enter the real queue. We immediately met a new friend who was visiting the park solo, so shout out to you, Alexa. And then we were allowed to go through the gate. Immediately upon entering the queue, more theming. This is great. And the queue winds around and gives all kinds of great views of the new coaster. Lots of fun theming elements are scattered throughout the entire area. Towards the end of the line is a somewhat indoor type of an area with some more great theming. On top of there being a lot of cool props in here, which is really fun, is that some of the posters from the teaser campaign are being displayed in here as well. It really ties the whole theme of the ride together very well and gives it more of a story, and I was just really impressed with all of it. After leaving this area, it is up the stairs and onto the ride. Our first ride was in rows 4 and 5. Because of social distancing, one row was to sit on the outside seats, and the next row was to take the middle seats, and so on throughout the train. Safety first. After all of the safety checks, we were on our way. The first thing I noticed when going up the lift hill was how quiet the lift is. For not being a cable lift like at Cedar Point on Millennium Force, this is the quietest lift I've ever seen. And then, the view. Beautiful views of the park as we went up, up, and up. And then, down. The coaster is fast, but it doesn't feel out of control. The smoothness and quietness of the coaster seems to disguise the speed a bit. You reach the bottom of that 300-foot drop before you know it, and right back up you go for that picturesque wave turn. This coaster keeps up its speed throughout the entire course. One of the most impressive things about this coaster is the height on the hill of the turnaround. You are still really moving by the time you get to this turnaround, and it is 202 feet tall. Coming out of that turnaround, there is a slight bank to the left and the train goes over a small speed hill. This coaster is really moving at this point, and you go up a larger floater airtime hill into the helix. It does have a mid-course brake run, which does slow things down a bit, but throughout the ride, there was still a nice amount of airtime. One of my favorite moments, if not my very favorite part of this ride, comes right before the end, coming out of the head chopper. There is this airtime moment that is just really awesome. And after this one, going up the hill into the brake run, you get a nice pop of air as well. You can really feel, after this airtime pop into the brake run, that the train is still just begging to keep going. It seems to still have a lot of life left in it, and you can just feel that it wants to keep on giving a great ride. Don't get me wrong, the ride that you do get is really good, but it seems like it stops short just before achieving ultimate greatness. While I do think this coaster is a great addition to the park, and it is a ride that I look forward to riding over and over again, I still am not sure where it would stand in my rankings overall, or even at Kings Island for that matter. I think it is definitely in my top 3 at the park, but I am not sure quite yet where it falls in. More rides on this will make it more clear in the future. We did get another ticket for a return visit between 5 and 6, and we took advantage of this as well. We got rows 2 and 3, just missing the front. I'm not sure if it was the heat of the day and breathing most of my outgoing CO2 back into my face the whole day that was affecting my brain, but I completely failed and didn't ask to be sent to the very back row. I am now craving a back row ride on this thing, as I think it may be an even more exciting ride back there than what we got towards the front. Overall, I think it is great that Kings Island and Cedar Fair made such a large investment into their park. The ride, with its color scheme, looks amazing. The theming is a great addition and really adds to the feeling of excitement while waiting in line, and the ride itself offers some really great moments. I would highly recommend this coaster to anybody who loves tall, fast, smooth, and great coasters. Personally, I look forward to making it back to Kings Island and riding Orion again and again. Orion, another wonderful attraction at this park to enjoy with my family for years to come. If you liked our video today, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, find us on social media. Thanks for watching.